True serum in your ear. No more lies, no fear. Tory bringing it clear. Good Trump shifting gears. Podcast like them flames. Spitting truth, breaking chains. Welcome to Orlando, man. Real talk, no games. Truth serum, truth serum, truth serum. We living it, we bring it in. Truth serum, truth serum. Breaking all the lies.
I wanted to have you on the show for a while. So just tell everybody where you're from and how long you've been here in Florida.
So I'm from New York, originally from the Bronx, and I've been in Florida for almost 10 years, to be 10 years in October.
So I asked you this off air, but I'm asking you now. Would you go back to New York?
No.
Why not?
It's different. So New York, well, at least from where I'm from, in the Bronx, it's dirty, it's grimy, I'm from the projects. So from going from the projects to like palm trees and beaches and sun, it's a big difference.
So you're a gangster.
Sure. If that's what you want to call it.
But I'm not saying an insult, but you from the hood.
Yeah, from the hood.
Okay, so what made you come to Florida?
So as a kid, we used to always come here on vacations, mostly to Fort Myers, sometimes to like Kissimmee. We'd go to like Old Town and stuff, and I always like, oh, I want to come here. I want to, live here one day. And my grandma used to love it, and she passed away when I was like 24. So I'm like, I still want to go. And then I met a guy that lived here, and I was like, oh wow, like maybe that'd be my way in. So yeah, that was my first like step here, and then obviously it didn't work out. So.
But you stayed.
I still moved here, yeah.
What is it about? What are the differences between Florida and New York to you? The big differences.
The big differences is like New York is very fast paced. It's very busy. It's constantly moving, and I honestly still kind of have that in me, even being here for 10 years. Florida's a little bit more slower, even though it's picked up since I've moved here. It's quieter. There's more things to do. It's warmer. It's sunnier during not the summer. When it's not summer, it's sunny.
Right.
But yeah, so it's a big difference. It's a big difference.
So out of all the cities in Florida, what made you choose Orlando to come?
So I don't live in Orlando.
Okay.
I live a little bit outside of Orlando.
Gotcha.
But the reason why I moved to where I'm at now is because the person I was talking to before I moved here, he lived in like the area. He told me about it, and that's why I kind of slid in that area.
Gotcha. Okay. So we have a couple of things in common. One of the things we have in common is we have kids.
Yes.
A kid.
A kid. Yes, just one.
Just one. Me too. One too. My daughter is 22. How is your daughter?
My daughter will be 17 in August.
So as parents of young adults, we can say, what has been some of the challenges of now again, let me know, how long have you been a single mom?
Me and her dad broke up when she was like a year and a half. So pretty much since then, I've dated and stuff, but nothing to the point where there was another person supporting my kid.
Gotcha.
So for the most of a part of her life, I've been a single mom.
Gotcha. And what have been some of the challenges of being a single mom?
Doing it all by myself. Making sure that I have a roof over her head.
Right.
Making sure I can provide her everything she needs, everything she wants, everything she asks for. That's been the biggest challenge, probably, yeah. And make sure I'm a good example for her.
Right. Have you, because I see a lot of myself in my daughter. Some good, some bad, a lot bad. But no, she's good. She's better than me. I'm going to tell you right now. She's a hell of a lot better than I am. But now that your daughter's a young adult, when they get to those we know how those oh my God, those teenagers. Whew, for me anyway. We don't want to be around dad, and dad's just old, and dad don't know, and all this, and or mom, or whatever. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced in the teenage years of raising a single mom?
So I can't really relate to most people on that level. I didn't really have a difficult time with her. So we have a really good relationship,
Right.
and even as a teenager, she's never been like nasty or snotty with me. Or yeah, there's times that she's like, "Oh, mom, you think you don't really know what I'm talking about," and I'm like, "I am so much older than you. Like, what are you talking about? I've been doing this for years before you."
Right.
But for the most part, she's not your typical teenager.
Okay.
She's pretty mature. She's smart. She's a good kid. She does what she has to do. And she's not, again, she doesn't come out nasty to me.
Right.
We hang out. Obviously not so much now. She's getting older. She wants to hang out with her own friends
Yeah.
and go out. But even still that, she's like, Mom, you want to go to the mall, or you want to go do this? So
Right.
I don't have that same experience as other parents.
That's good because my daughter, it's two. Without getting too personal, it's two different ways of parenting when it comes to a father and a mother. I was a disciplinarian, so she knew what flew with her mom ain't gonna fly with me.
Okay.
You ain't gonna be 12 years old with a full face of makeup. I'm just sorry, that ain't flying with me. You ain't gonna be 12 years old with your hair dyed pink. That ain't flying with me. But at the time, they don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? So you can't expect a 12-year-old or a whatever-year-old to think like a 40-year-old.
No.
It's not possible. You know what I'm saying? You give them advice and then they can do with it as they choose. So what was the most nerve-wracking? And the reason I asked that is because I probably already know the answer to this because I think I've seen it. What was the most nerve-wracking experience you had so far with your...
With my daughter?
Yeah.
Her getting her license, probably.
I was waiting for that.
So, and I'm the one that taught her how to drive.
And did you teach in the New York way?
No, I mean, maybe, I don't know.
Oh,
well, no,
Lord.
I'm actually, so I drive, I've been pretty good as far as driving here in Florida. I think I just got accustomed to the way they drive here, even though it kind of gets frustrating, but I think it's more the foreigners and the tourists than anything else.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
But I was a whole teacher who taught her that's how to drive, and every like little thing she would do, I'd be like, oh my God, like holding on to like the door.
What you taught her?
Holding on to like the freaking, like my emergency brakes that don't exist on my side. And she's like, oh my God, you make me more nervous than I
Yes.
already am. And I'm like, I can't help it. Like, I'm not a passenger, I'm a freaking driver. This is different. I do not sit in this seat.
What you taught her?
I know. I mean,
So if you're nervous about her driving,
it's whatever I taught her.
then you must not be confident in your driving.
So it's the speed. She's like a speedster, and I get that because
Are
I
you a
am
speedster?
too. Yeah,
Oh,
I have a
my
heavy
goodness.
foot, so I get it. And then I have like a tracker on her phone, so I can see how fast she's going. I'm like, do you realize that you were going 63 in a 45?
Hold on, do you have the tracker? Does it buzz you when she gets past a certain point?
No, so I can go on the app and like see where she's at, but it also tells me how fast she's driving. So I'm like, if you were doing 63 in a 45, like if you get stopped, you're getting a freaking ticket.
Oh my God! I'm so glad that shit didn't exist when we were kids. Do you know?
too, 'cause I would've been
Right? I would have had the keys taken away from me immediately. That's a wrap. You're done. You're not driving until you're 25. It's done deal.
I actually got stopped after I got my license.
You got stopped.
I got my license when I was almost 19, and I was driving upstate, and the speed limit was like 65.
How fast were you
I was
going?
doing 82,
82.
and I got stopped.
How old were you?
I was like 19.
But your parents didn't know.
Yeah, well, no, it didn't matter then because I was already an adult, but I got my license suspended.
Damn.
Because in New York, you have 6 months probation.
Oh, you had just got your license.
I just got my license.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, I got it suspended, and I had to get like what's it called? Like a temporary license, a restricted license, which will only allow you to go to work and then come home, which obviously I didn't just go to work. I did other stuff, but
That's
as
nice.
long as
We're
I wasn't
19.
speeding,
Yeah.
you know? But yeah,
Wow.
so I think I know where she gets it from.
Well, then you gotta. I mean, of course, as parents, we try to tell them from experience, don't do this and do that. But
Yeah.
then you have to realize, like, didn't our parents do the same thing to us, and we did
Yeah,
it anyway?
Did it anyway.
Only difference is now we can monitor that. We couldn't do it back then.
No.
So yeah, yeah, that's wow.
So yeah, that was probably like the most nerve-wracking one. And then we also had like a health scare with her. So that was probably my top nerve-wracking one for her. Yeah.
Okay, I feel you. I feel you. So, and again, stop me if it's personal. Do you ever want to have any more kids?
I did for a while.
Right.
Not anymore. I'm past that age where I'm like, My kid's almost 18. She's about to go to college. I don't want to start over.
That's where I am. I'm like, I've had one relationship a few years ago end because I didn't want to have any more. I didn't want to have another kid. But see, it's important that if you with somebody who, because sometimes you get with people who don't have kids and they want to have kids.
Right.
It's important to tell them off the break, I don't want to have kids.
Right.
So they can, know and not expect kids.
Exactly.
So that's where I am. I don't want to have kids because number one, most teenagers, not all, they suck today.
They do.
I don't have patience. You know what I'm saying? So if I have a teenager now, I'll be probably, if I had a kid now, you can't have a teenager,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But if I had a kid now, they would be a teenager when I'm in my 60s. My patience is like this now. Can you imagine in my 60s dealing with a teenager? Not happening. Not happening. So yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. So being in Orlando for 10 years now, or being in Florida for 10 years now.
Yeah.
What are some of the pluses and minuses of being here? And we're gonna get into, and when I say everything, I'm talking about from the weather, the driving, the dating. Just tell me
Okay.
Let's start with the pluses.
All right. So the pluses are it's usually warm.
Yeah.
Most of the year. So you have more opportunities to go to the beach, to go to the pool, to do amusement parks. They're open all year.
Right.
Compared to New York, they're only open I think it's from May to November.
Yeah.
So, that's like a plus. You get to go out more. There's more open air. It's more outside stuff.
Yeah.
The traffic, it used to be okay. I can't really say that's a plus anymore. It's kind of sucky. Even where I live, it's more, not so much city. It's more like rural area, suburban.
Gotcha.
But it's still too many people are moving there. So the traffic is disgusting. So I'd probably say that's probably the plus side of it. It's warmer, you get to do more. There's more stuff to, outside activities to explore, to experience.
Yeah, I agree. So far, I only been here a year, but that list checks. You're right.
Yeah.
To me. Yeah. So any more pluses? Or that's
That's something I could think of right now.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no. And for me anyway,
Right.
in my experience, you have more opportunities to do more of your life. So, New York, the housing over there is expensive. So I knew that I would never be able to buy a house in New York. I was never going to be able to have own anything of my own. And since I've moved here, I've owned 2 houses already. It's my second that I'm in now. I've got a great job. I make great money. Even if people say Florida doesn't pay you much, it's not true. It just depends on what field you're in and what your experience is. So I make good money. I went back to school while I was here. I got my bachelor's degree.
Okay.
I was able to do that online. So in that aspect, it's been good for me. It's been a plus for me.
That's what's up. So now what about the minuses? What are some of the things you experience down here that suck?
So the minuses. So the night scene is sucky. Coming from New York.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go and then I'm gonna go.
Coming from New York, everything closes at 4. I remember getting dressed at 10 to go out and not getting anywhere till maybe 11 or 12 o'clock at night. Here, everything closes at 2. You have to be at the place by 10 or 11. Because if not, you're only gonna enjoy a couple hours and then you have to go home. Not to say anything because I'm older and I want to go home anyway, but it's a different scene. Even just the scene itself, it's not the same.
It's not.
It's not as fun. It's I don't know. It's just very different.
It is.
And then dating sucks too.
I'm gonna let you finish because I'm gonna get in.
Too. The men down here are very different. I'm not gonna say all of the men, but a good portion of them. No one really pursues anyone here, and I feel like the women have to do the pursuing more than the men do, because I think guys are afraid of women.
I get that vibe.
On the most of the men. Now I'm not gonna say all men, because there's some that are brave and approach women, but for the most part, men are not that brave.
I get that vibe. Any other minuses?
It's hot.
It is.
The summer times.
Look,
It's just summertime.
let me. I tell you any other minuses because
Just the humidity. I think
Humidity,
that's
yeah.
and then the bugs.
I haven't had a bad experience with bugs down here.
There's some.
Not yet.
I have. Do you have any red ants yet? I got bit by a red ant.
No.
Don't.
Man.
It's not only painful, but it's itchy. Like the first bite is
They bite? Oh,
painful
boo.
as heck. It's so painful. You'll feel it when they're biting you. And then the recovery from it takes over a week.
Wait a minute.
It looks almost like a pimple. Like it gets swollen.
Wait a minute. This is some brand new shit now.
Don't ever get eaten by a red ant because they are horrible. They're called fire ants because it feels like fire when they bite you.
How do they bite? Like, what do you, like?
They just like crawl on you and they bite you. And it's painful and then it's super freaking itchy. And sometimes leave a scar because it's that bad.
You feel it when they bite?
Heck yeah, you feel it. You can feel it.
What does it feel like? A sting or something?
Like a sting.
Because I was sitting over there one day last week in my chair just watching YouTube. All of a sudden, I didn't see anything. I felt something out the clear blue, like, ah! And I looked down, I didn't see shit. I'm like, what was that? And then, like, a couple of hours later, it was a bump that formed. I'm like, what the fuck?
Was it, like, super itchy?
Yes.
Yeah, it was probably a red ant.
But it went away. Like, I put alcohol on it, and after a couple hours, it was done.
Oh, really?
Maybe
it wasn't. Maybe it was just like a bug.
Maybe it was something, yeah. Because I smacked it, and, normally if you smack it real quick, you'll see what it is. I didn't see shit, so maybe it was just something.
It was just
like
a regular insect, but the
probably,
red ants.
Yeah. God damn, I'm glad you told me about that.
Yeah, stay away from those because they.
See, this is. Let me just say this, okay? This is what I've heard. Well, number one, I'm glad. This is why I want to get a house because I want a house. I don't want to get a house because of shit like this. Because I haven't had any bug issues since I've been here. Number one, I'm on the top floor. I live in an apartment. I'm on the top floor. I haven't had any issues. Okay. I'm pretty sure if I was on the first and second floor, I would have had some issues.
Probably.
But the first week I got here, there was and I haven't seen it since because I destroyed that motherfucker. It was what do you call these flying roaches y'all had?
Palmettos.
Palmetto came in here.
So they're not only just here though. So I had experience with them in New York because I already knew what they were.
A palmetto was in New York?
Yeah, so we call them water bugs.
Oh, boo.
I don't know why. Because they usually come out when it's like raining and stuff. So that's when we call them water bugs. They look like huge roaches.
Yeah.
And they fly.
Yeah,
so they have them in New York. So,
but see, the roaches I'm used to in Maryland were just the ones that like to get in your food and shit.
Like the German roaches?
Yeah. The palmettos, they don't give a shit about food. They just want to fly around and shit.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a palmetto than a German.
I'd rather have neither.
I'd rather have neither. Yep. I'd rather have a spider than any of those motherfuckers. Roaches signify dirt to me. I don't like it.
That's true.
But palmettos, why do they call them roaches? They're not really roaches.
I don't know. We used to call them water bugs in New York.
Right.
Because they come out like when there's water, when there's like, if it's raining outside, they sometimes come out of your drain. Like in New York anyway, that's how they used to come out. Like, they used to come out like out of the bathtub, out the drain of the bathtub. And
so you could be taking a shower
and that happened to me once when I lived in New York. I had like my apartment and I was gonna go take a shower. I think my daughter was like 2 or 3. And I went to go take a shower. So I'm like, butt naked. And I put the shower on and she always follows me everywhere because it's just me and her. So out of the corner of my eye, I see something moving.
Oh no.
On the wall of the shower. And I looked and I was like, oh shit. It's a water bug. I ran out the bathroom, butt naked.
Hell yeah.
I left her in the bathroom by herself.
You're a bad mother. What a bad mother.
Come here
or die.
Come here.
Come or die. I'm not coming for you. You come here or die. The choice is yours, little child.
And she's like, what's going on?
Oh my! Look.
Oh my God.
I'm a bitch when it comes to bugs.
I am too.
You know what I'm saying? Like a dude, like somebody could put a gun in my head, and I'd be like, man, fuck you. I'll cuss him out. But somebody put a bunch of roaches, like, so you could rob me with roaches. You can literally rob me with roaches.
Oh my God.
Rather than a gun, I'm gonna be like, man, dude, I'm gonna cuss you out. What, roaches?
Yeah.
Like, here, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't do bugs, yo. When I saw that bug come here, it had to be a palmetto. It flew, and they always in the corner. Mm-hmm. Of the walls. I only saw it one time. It was my first week. And my first week, I was like, I need to get the fuck back up north. This happened to week 1. I'm like, I can't do this every week.
Oh my God.
So I went to Walmart. It eventually came down and it went under my stove. So I went to Walmart. A friend told me to get this stuff called Golden Roach or something.
Okay.
That shit is a miracle. It's a miracle spray. I sprayed under it. He crawled out. He was dying. He crawled out, and that was the end of him. And I haven't seen any. When I say anybody, I haven't seen any bugs in here since.
That's good.
That was July of last year.
That's good.
And now what I do preventive work. I spray every 2 weeks that stuff all around the top and the bottom. I haven't seen one bug.
Smart.
Not one, I mean one bug, none, since then.
That's smart.
And it's like, yo, when I see a bug, I don't like bugs, yo.
I don't either.
I'm a man. I consider myself. I'm not gonna say alpha, but I consider myself alpha. But when it comes to a bug, I'm a bitch. You want to see the bitch in me come out? Put a bug somewhere around here. It's gonna be like screaming. If you my girl, I'm probably gonna get behind you.
Oh my God, that's
like,
horrible.
Baby, get it.
Protect me.
Look,
Go kill it.
Right, I'm a bitch when it comes to bugs, yo.
Oh my God.
I am. You can put a gun to my head, and I'm gonna be the manliest man. You put a gun full of bugs to my head, I'm gonna scream like a bitch.
I don't do bugs either. I don't like them. That's
can't
the one
stand
thing I
it.
hate about Florida is the bugs.
Yeah, I haven't had that much. I'm on my balcony. Normally, I get on my balcony around nighttime because.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's when they really come out.
But I haven't, because I take a candle with me. They don't fuck with the
maybe
candle.
that's why.
Yeah, I did my research before I moved down this motherfucker. Trust me, I did
That's
that.
smart. Okay.
And I found out how that palmetto got in here because one of the people who were working on this apartment left. The window was down back there, but the little top part, I guess, was cracked.
Okay.
And it came in that way.
Oh.
When I shut it and sealed it, I haven't seen any bugs in here since. And I sprayed. Yeah, obviously.
I get like the pest people to come and like do a spray or
If you got a house, it's okay. So your backyard, you have a back. How has it been? Have you seen alligators and shit like that? Or?
So thankfully my backyard is, so I have, the way the houses that are where I live, I didn't want like a whole lot of land because I didn't want to maintain it. So I can literally see the back of my neighbor's house.
Okay.
Like behind me, I can see my neighbor over here, I can see my neighbor over here, and next to me. So it's not a huge backyard, it's pretty small. It's good enough for me, like it sustains whatever I want. So I've seen an alligator one time, and not in my backyard. So there's a park, like a 2 blocks down from my house.
Okay.
So we had, I think it was when COVID happened, so you couldn't really do much. So we were like, let's go take a walk to the park. So we went to the park and we're walking by, there's like a lake behind the park. Mind you, this is a park for kids. There's a lake behind the park. So we're walking and I'm walking in front. Now, again, I'm the kind of person that I'm like flight. I don't fight, I flight. Like I'm out.
I like that.
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna be
New
out.
York stuff.
I'm just gonna be out. Like, see y'all later. I don't know what y'all gonna
Deuces.
do, but I'm out.
Yeah.
So we're walking, and at the corner of my eye, I see an alligator on the floor, and I was like, oh! I started backing up little by little. I'm like, alligator
On the floor?
Alligator, like right next to the lake. It was like playing by the lake.
Yes, you know you're in New York when they call it the floor. But go ahead.
The ground.
I'm
Grass,
messing
whatever it is, the dirt.
I know.
I don't know.
That's how I know you hood.
By the lake.
You said the floor. I'm like, fuck all that shit. It's the floor. The bottom is the floor.
The next to the lake. Next to the lake. It wasn't in the water. So I'm like backing up. So I'm with my daughter, her friend, and the person I was seeing at that point.
Right.
And I'm backing up, and I'm like, alligator, alligator, alligator. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying there's an alligator. I'm not saying run. I'm just like backing up little by little. Alligator, alligator.
You
and they're
saying
still
the word
walking.
alligator?
And they're still walking like towards it and walking like nothing's happening.
You're
and
saying
I'm
the
just,
word alligator?
I'm just saying alligator, alligator, and just backing up until I got like far enough. And they're like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, there's an alligator.
Because I just said alligator. What you want me to scream it so I can excite the motherfucker so he can start running after you? No.
So I was like, there's an alligator. And then my daughter was like, oh. I even left my daughter behind.
Yeah, that's the second time you left her door behind.
Like, dude,
you left her behind the shower.
alligator.
You left behind the alligator.
Alligator. It's an alligator.
Alligator. But I like how calm you use the word. Alligator.
Alligator. But I was backing up. I was walking backwards like alligator because I wanted to watch it to make sure it didn't move. I'm like, alligator.
That's smart though, because if you panic,
right,
the alligator may panic,
right,
and then fuck everybody up.
Exactly. So I was like, nope, I'm out.
You out.
I'm out. See y'all later. I'm going that way.
So I got so alligators. I have yet to see a live alligator like in the street and shit. I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen soon. I've been down here a whole year, and all my people up there like, man, you gonna get alligators gonna be everywhere,
They're
and
not.
you can get bitten by, and a hurricane is gonna blow you away, and all this. I'm like, there's a reason I chose Orlando. Orlando's central, is in the middle. If a hurricane comes here, by the time it gets here, it's not going to be as strong as it would if you were on
Right.
the East Coast, like
Right.
Daytona, Smyrna,
Or even like the West Coast.
the Gulf Coast, yeah, Tampa, freaking Pensacola, all that West Coast
Right.
shit. So Orlando to me was the safest spot. And I'm not a theme park person. Like I don't do roller coasters.
Oh, really?
Hell no.
I love roller coasters.
Oh, you.
The thing is that I don't like heights, but I love roller coasters.
I don't like it. Heights or roller coasters.
I don't do heights. But the roller coaster's so fast. So I like the thrill of that. But I don't ask me to go like to a building and look down because I'm not gonna do it. Don't ask me to zip line because I'm not gonna do it. Don't ask me to bungee jump or jump on an airplane because it's
Hell
not happening.
no. But you'll do a roller coaster.
But I'll do a roller coaster.
I don't understand that.
It's fast. It's fast. But usually, like, if it's like a really steep incline,
Yeah.
I'll close my eyes on the way up.
So we were talking. You said there's a St. Pete Beach or something, or there's a bridge
Oh, I think it's going to St. Pete.
that goes like it's not even a steady. It's like
It goes up, yeah.
And I was like, I told my boy John, I'm like, bro, if we gotta go over that bridge, we're not gonna see the Royal Rumble, though. We're gonna have to go back to my place and watch the Royal Rumble. We're not going. If I have to go over that bridge, I'm not doing it. Because there's a bridge in Maryland. If you go to Ocean City Beach, there's a bridge called the Chesapeake Bay Bridge.
Okay.
When I go over that bridge, everybody in the car must be silent.
Really?
Yes, and they be fucking with me because they know I'm scared of that bridge, so they fuck with me on purpose. Like, hey man, you ready? Hey, this and that. I'm like, if y'all don't shut the fuck up, we going off this bridge. That's how I get them to shut up. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So when I'm over the bridge, I don't drive 12 o'clock. What's the 12 o'clock? 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock?
12, 3
No,
o'clock?
it's 9 and 3.
9 and 3. I don't drive 9 and 3. I do when I go over that motherfucker. I'm
You're
like, hell yeah. And nobody's distracting me. And they know that, so they'll fuck with me in the car. They're like, hey man, look at this. And I'm in the middle lane. I'm always in the middle lane because I don't want to be on this side or that
So
side.
I'm like that with bridges too.
You
So
are.
if I can see over like into the water, I don't want to be in that lane.
Right.
So the least that I can see, and if there is no other way for me to go, and there's only like 2 lanes, I am not looking.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
looking
it's tunnel
straight.
vision.
I'm only can see straight ahead.
It's tunnel
I
vision.
can't see anything else. I'm focused on straight
Right.
ahead because I am scared of heights.
Look, let me tell you, it was one night we came back over. Okay, so I've done a couple of things. It was one, and my boy JP, I know he's watching. So we came back one night. I was a professional wrestling promoter, not a wrestler. I never wrestled, but I wrote the storylines and shit.
Okay.
Like you seen in WWE.
Yeah.
I had an independent wrestling promotions all on YouTube. Cheap plug. I'll put the link right here. And the night after the event, we came back. We had to come back over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge at night. And for some reason, these motherfuckers closed off all the lanes except the one to the far right.
Oh my God.
That one to the far right, not every part of that bridge had a guardrail.
No.
No bullshit. So I had to come back. JP wouldn't ride with me. He was in his own car, but he knew how I felt. I had to come back over that bridge. Everybody merged into one lane. Certain parts of the bridge had no guardrail. I thought I was gonna die that night.
No. Nope.
And I had to go over that. I was like, everybody in the car, shut up. Be quiet. This is concentration.
breathe.
Right.
Don't talk.
Don't talk. I'm like, only time I got comfortable was when we started going on the decline. I'm like, all right, we made it. So, still shut up.
We're okay now.
Yeah. I was like, still shut up, because we ain't there until I'm on the land. This bridge in St. Pete, this is pure evil. Why would you do a bridge that high?
Because of hurricanes. So the water level rises during hurricanes. So in order for it to not obviously go over that bridge, they have to make the bridge higher because that's more like water over there. It's the Gulf Coast. So if you've ever gone over there during like rough seasons, you'll see it. So I've gone there, I think it was like April one year. So it's not quite hurricane season, but it's like storming. So the waters are very rough. And the bridge, when you first start out, it's kind of low. Like the part of it when you go to St. Pete, it's kind of low. So when you're driving, the water almost looks like it's gonna come over.
Let me see what the name of this bridge is. So
I don't remember what it's called.
I'm about to
It's been a
find
while
out.
since I've been over there, but
But if you know a hurricane is coming, what the fuck you doing on the bridge anyway?
I don't know. I wouldn't even go anywhere near the coast. Like
Right.
I'm staying right here in the middle. And if the hurricane's that bad, I'm driving wherever the hell the hurricane's not going.
A lot of people just love fucking challenging death. Is it called?
I'm good.
Is it called the Skyway Bridge?
Yeah,
Is that
that's it. Mm-hmm.
There's no way.
It's a Skyway Bridge.
There's no way. Let me see images. Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
The Sunshine Skyway Bridge.
Yep.
And look, it doesn't look as intimidating in this picture, but trust me, I've seen it. I went on YouTube on it. This joint goes higher than what it looks. This is an evil bridge, and I'm gonna post a picture right here and now so y'all can see it. This is an evil. Whoever came up with this joint should be prosecuted. Why would you put human lives in fear like that to go over something that high?
Oh my God.
This is why I can't do roller coasters. You like roller
I
coasters?
do like roller coasters.
Something wrong with y'all.
It's so much fun.
It's so much fun.
It is really fun.
Something wrong with y'all.
Probably. You're probably right. Probably something wrong.
This is, and then you go woof, and then
That's
woof.
so much fun. You don't feel it if you put your hands up and
Nah,
scream at the same time.
Hell nah.
You don't
Scream.
feel it.
I would
Scream.
die.
Scream.
You seen them pictures of the dudes going up and then they faint in this little.
Oh
little
my God,
ride?
that's so funny.
That's me.
See, I don't do those things. So like the slingshot and stuff. No, I don't like that. Like
It's
you're just
one I
tossing
drive.
me up on. Yeah, I know. It's
I
one
can't
I
do
drive.
it. Have you done that?
No.
Would you do
What
it?
I've done is, and I didn't do it here. I did it when I was in New York. I went to Six Flags. So you know the one where you lay down, like you kind of lay. It's almost like a bungee
a
jump,
roller
but you like
coaster?
lay. No, it's like a bungee jump.
I don't know.
They have it in. You ever been to Old Town or a Fun Spot?
No.
Okay.
I try. If any of them life daring shits, I haven't been to.
So, well, Old Town has other things besides like that, but it's like you lay down almost, right? And then it lifts you up like you're laying down and lifts you up all the way up, and it's a rope, right? It's a rope. It's like a
It's
bungee
a
jump.
rope.
It's like a bungee jump. And it lifts you all the way up and to the point that people look like cockroaches because that's how high up you are. Mind you, I didn't really want to do it. I was like maybe 19 or 18. I'm not sure how old I was. I was young. But my friends wanted to do it, and they're like, come on, let's do it. So now the guy was like putting us, it was three of us, and he was like, okay, you're gonna be at the end where you pull the rope. And I said, look, if you put me there, we're never coming back down. So you may want to put somebody else there because I promise you we're gonna stay up there forever. Because I'm not gonna pull it. We're not coming down. So they put somebody else there, and I think I was in the middle.
You gotta come down. Huh?
I know I wasn't gonna do it though. They're gonna have to do it themselves, or somebody's gonna have to like do it from the bottom because it wasn't gonna be me. So they did it, and as we got like higher and higher, everybody got like smaller and smaller. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Like those kind of things scare me. I can do roller coasters, but that scared the hell out of me. I would never do it again. So now you're like super duper high, and then when you pull the rope, my friend did it, and as soon as you like let go, that first feeling, you feel like nothing's holding you.
Oh
And it
no.
felt like you were just gonna go straight to the ground. I was like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Today I'm gonna die. And
Oh,
I
that-
never did it again.
And you found this exciting?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I'm about to-
That's why I said I did it once. I'll never do it again. That
about to
was not
say.
exciting to me. I did not like it at all. I
Yo,
didn't like it. It was horrible.
Let me tell you something. I'm not fucking with gravity. I refuse to I'm not fucking with gravity. I'm just not doing it. Too much bad shit happens with gravity.
It was scary. I would
Like
never-
even going on a plane, like I hate planes. I will only get on a plane if I absolutely have to. Now, WrestleMania for all my wrestling people is coming to Las Vegas next year. My boy JP, I mentioned JP through this, and you probably hear a couple of my best friends in there because they my homies and my best friends, and we plan a lot of shit together. It's in Las Vegas. These dudes are trying to get me to Vegas. I'm going to go. However, I don't take flights over 3 hours. So I'm going to purposely schedule a stop.
Just so that you know, on the plane for 3 hours.
Exactly.
Oh God, I hate stops.
Look, I hate them too, but
hate
if it's
stops.
over 3 hours, I gotta come back
So
down.
you'll never like travel outside the country?
I'm going to one day, but I gotta build to that.
Because I did Spain last year, and it's about almost 8 hours. Because you're literally crossing an entire ocean.
Right. That's
You don't feel it though. It was like, I think that was the best flight I've ever had in my life. You feel nothing.
What flight did you take?
I took American Airlines.
Oh hell no.
It was the best flight I've ever had in my life. It was smooth. There was like no turbulence. They give you actual like real good food. The drinks are free.
What?
I know. I was like, hey, can I
I've been
get
getting drunk the
some
whole
wine?
time, yeah.
They're like, yes. I have my credit card out. They were like, okay. And they gave it to me and they walked away. I'm like, oh, okay.
See, my one flight overseas that I must take before I leave this planet, I have to go to Japan.
Okay.
That's on my bucket list. I don't want to fly anywhere, but if I have to do a flight, which I'm gonna do one day when I get the nerve, I'm going to go to Japan. And here's my thing: I told all my friends this: if I go anywhere overseas, I'm doing nothing less of first class. I'm flying first class or bus. I'm not sitting regular flying anywhere. If I go overseas, I'm doing first class up, and that's it.
That's the best way too, because we sat in like economy basic.
Oh no!
And you're like sitting in those regular seats for 7.5 hours.
Oh no!
So you're kind of cramped. The only good thing about it is that it was like me, my cousin, and my aunt. So we had like a row to each other, and it was like laid on each other. But it's still very crampy, and it's not very comfortable.
Yeah, that's.
So I would definitely recommend like upgrading on that part of it.
And I heard the flight from here to Tokyo is like 14 hours.
That's far. I don't know. So you have to probably fly either. Well, you probably have to fly to Cali, and then from Cali fly.
Yeah, it's no nonstop flights. You got to transfer somewhere, especially from here. Yeah, if you were from Cali, it would be nonstop from the West Coast.
That's so you got to cross the entire ocean to get there.
That's the thing. Like if we crash.
You're going right into the water. I think it's better off going into the water than in land.
I was going to say that. It's much better going into water. At least I have a small chance.
Yeah.
You crash into land, that's a wrap.
You're
done.
exploding.
And that's the thing about flying. If I know I'm about to crash when I'm flying, I'm grabbing the finest lady near me. I'm going out with a smile. What you gonna accuse me of right? Like we about to die. Why not?
You're gonna go out happy.
We both gonna go out happy. So shut up and chill. We about to die anyway. Let's get this done. Let's do this.
Let's get it over with. That's
Let's
it.
get
We're gonna do
with.
this, and that's it.
Exactly. Now, if we happen to survive, I'm gonna look like a fool.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do this to you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but you were smiling too.
My bad.
You know what I'm saying? Let's just. I'm probably not gonna see you again. It's cool, you know. But yeah, that's me in the air, like bridges. When they get too high, I feel like I should be in a plane at that point. Yeah. And this bridge you were telling me about, I've seen it on YouTube. I'm like, how can it? What if it's traffic on the bridge?
Yeah, you're just gonna have to suck it up.
Man, I can't do it, man. I
don't think there's any other way around it either.
It's not.
You literally have to take that.
You got to do it. That's why I'm not going that far. If I go that far and I know I'm going to go up to the bridge, I'm going to pull over. I'm going to tell the person I'm in the car with, you drive.
Yes.
And then when we get off the bridge, I'll take over again.
Exactly. I have an aunt that did that, so she's scared of bridges too. She lives like in the Tampa area, and she was going there. She had to pull over.
Yeah.
I don't know who she was. Maybe me, her brother, my uncle, or something. And she had to pull over and like, look, I can't do it. You're gonna have to drive because we're not gonna make it over the bridge.
Washington, D.C., 2004 to 2009. An indie wrestling group made headwaves in D.C., Maryland, and Delaware. It was called Zero Underground.
And now it officially returns, this time in Orlando, Florida. Zero Underground returns spring 2025. And now, back to Truth Serum.
And I said it in my last joint I did, and I will say so far what I've experienced down here with Orlando with the women is that y'all freaky.
Oh my God.
They freaky down here. They freaky down here. Like it's no to nothing. I'll just say that. Now, let me get off the bedroom part. Let me just talk about the dating part, because the liquor can make my mind go elsewhere. But I would say from the dating part down here, it's kind of what you said earlier. A lot of the dudes down here are beta men. Mm-hmm. And this is how you can tell some of the women who are from here their whole life compared to the women like you who have come down here.
Right.
It's like this is just the norm for them.
Yeah.
Some of the dudes down here, it takes really no effort. The one thing I will credit you, Original Floridians, with is that y'all don't have any. You're not. What's the word I'm looking for? When you don't care what anybody looks like, it's.
You're not picky about the way people look. Or?
You're not picky. You're not. You will deal with an ugly motherfucker in a heartbeat. Trust me, I've seen it up close and personal.
Oh my God.
And motherfuckers ugly, y'all don't care. Y'all will, whatever, But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, but no, I think the dating when it comes to men and women, I'm starting to learn now, moving down here, that it does have a lot to do with the area.
Yeah.
Because we were talking, a lot of the men and women in different areas are a little different.
Yeah.
So from you being in Florida to New York, what are some of the difference you've seen in the men?
So for me, like New York, the men in New York are very aggressive. They will pursue you if they are interested in you. You're not going to self-doubt like they don't like you, because they will make it known that they like you. There's no doubt about it. In Florida, it's almost like they'll make an effort at maybe in the beginning, and then you become the pursuer as a female. And for me, that's different because I'm not from here and I'm not used to that. I'm used to New York, where you're constantly being pursued by men. So that was like a big difference for me. The dating world here is very different than what I'm used to. I was in a relationship for the most part since time I've been here. So it was an off and on relationship. So I did date other people during the off part of it. Right. But I did date someone for a good 8 years almost, off and on. So yeah.
Right. And you've been here 10 years.
I've been here 10 years.
So yeah, you. So the dating pool was kind of new to you at the time. But let me, it's. I will say this, and again, I've only been here a year, and I could be completely wrong. So I'm just giving you a 1 year perspective, okay? Fuck y'all, what's going on down here? Fuck is going on down here? I'm trying to get that. Do Floridians only date Floridians? And maybe that's what I'm missing or something. It's a Floridian thing. I don't understand. But it was something I was going to say and I completely forgot. See, that's what happens when you're in your mid-40s. And you try to make sense of it. It's like I gotta make sense of this shit, and I couldn't, so I just gave up and said I forgot, because I did. But what is going on down here, yo? It's like, now I will give credit to this. The women down here are not shallow. Y'all would date ugly men in a heartbeat. You would love ugly men in a heartbeat. I've seen it in person.
Broke men.
You would give up the sex to ugly men in a heartbeat. I've seen that in person. But the one thing I don't get is the women down here want to, and this is going, I think this part here is going to override Florida. This is a whole dating thing. And I think the older I get, I think I'm old fashioned. I will pursue a woman in a heartbeat. You're going to know I want you. Mm-hmm. I'm not chasing you. There's a difference, because some of y'all women, okay, you would get pursued, but that's not enough. You want to be chased. I'm not chasing you. You're going to know I want you. But if I don't get some type of sign back, just something, just a little sign, because I know women don't like to be, but just drop a little hint that it's mutual. I will continue the pursuit. The chase is something I'm not doing. You should have called me 10, 15 years ago. I'd have chased the fuck out you. You'd have called me thirsty and all that shit. I'm not chasing anymore. And I think a lot of women, regardless of, they want to be chased, and they don't know. Y'all say y'all want to be pursued, but y'all don't know the difference between pursuit and chase.
So I think, in my experience as a female, so men pursue you, right? In my experience, but once they know that they're like, okay, I'm in, the pursuing stops.
That's wrong. Yeah.
The pursuing stops, and now they're making you not only pursue them, but now they want to be chased. No. So that's been my experience for the most part, and I'm not gonna say like all men. No. I'm gonna say, but a good portion of them. Right. I pursued you. I'm in. I'm done. I did my job. Like, now you can chase me, and now you can kind of like find your way to me. So
that's what you call beta.
Yeah.
I'm going to pursue you, and when you give me the inkling that you're good, you don't have to come out and say, "Hey, come chase, come be with me. I'm down." But just give me something. Right. The little nuggets, you know what I'm saying? It's not really in a woman's nature, unless I'm wrong, but to be like, to go all out and tell you, hey, come here, you gotta pay attention to the signs. you'll know as a man if she's interested.
Oh, yeah.
And at that point, you continue the pursuit, and then it's up to you to take it to that next level. She's either going to accept or not. If she doesn't accept, a lot of guys have the perception that all these words now I'm forgetting. Shit. It's not a word, but it's like when guys continue to hunt you down and think they're gonna wear you out to the point where you're gonna give in.
Okay. I know what you're trying to say. I don't know the word for it, but yeah.
That's
The word escapes me as well.
me too, and I had it in my,
It's the
it's the age. I forget shit. It'll come back to me in 5 minutes from now, and I'll say it. But they will continue to do it until they wear you down. You have no choice but to be like, okay, let's do this.
Right.
So I'm not that dude. I'm like, I will pursue you to the end of time, and I'm gonna take it up, until if we decide we ain't doing them, we go our other ways. But if you don't give me some little nugget of interest, I'm not gonna continue to pursue you, because if you don't show interest, it goes from pursuit. Now I'm chasing you.
Yeah.
I'm not chasing. I'm too old. I'm tired of chasing. My legs don't work like that no more. My mind don't work like that no more. You got to give me something, And a lot of dudes don't do that. They just keep pressing, and now you've annoyed her, and now you're thirsty.
So the problem with that, though, is that they'll do all that. They make all that effort. Mm-hmm. They did so much work to get this female to notice them. And now the female's suddenly interested, like, all right, screw it, I'll give you a chance, right? I'm all in. And now the man is like,
that's a game.
And it's like, you just pursued me for how long? And now that I'm interested in you, you just like, I don't understand that. That makes no sense to me.
That's a game.
And I don't like that game.
That's what you call game, and not good game.
No.
It's bad game, because now it's okay, I pursued you, and now you didn't. Now you gotta, and now she's showing interest, and now you like, well, F that.
Right.
You're dealing with an immature man, number one. You're dealing with somebody who's not used to any attention, number two. And it's up to you as the female to be like, no, F that, or continue to do it.
Right.
It comes a point in time where, at an age, and I'm not even going to say an age, because we have people in their 50s that act like teenagers.
Yes.
We have people in their 50s who be in certain groups and they do dumb shit and spread rumors. You're 50, you're your grandmother. And you're acting like you're in high school. What the fuck are we doing here?
Oh my God, yes.
Grow the fuck up, people. But I digress. But no, it comes. Need some heavy editing work on that.
Seriously.
But what I'm saying though, man, it comes apart when you come to a certain. I'm not saying like here's another thing I was talking about dating. We all have our preferences, okay? Well, that's the human nature. We have our preferences. Back in the day, probably 10 years, I was like, you had to have a big old ass for me to.
That was like your preference.
That was my.
Like you had to have a big booty.
You had to have a big.
For me to pursue you.
Yeah, you could be the sweetest girl in the world and probably would have made my life wonderful. But if you had a little tiny ass, I couldn't deal with you.
Wow.
It wasn't.
It just wasn't your preference.
It wasn't. But yeah, it wasn't my preference. But as I got older, I realized that even though we have our preferences, my preferences are not at the top of my list where they were before.
So you moved around like your priorities, your must-haves.
My must-haves. My must-have. Number one have is are we happy? Am I happy?
Are you sane?
Right. Are you saying, is this person gonna make me go crazy?
Right. Yeah.
Right. I can deal with the little tiny butt. Like there's a lot of females who have, hey, this guy gotta be 6 feet tall, or this guy gotta have this and that. But where has that got you? You know what I'm saying? So although we will always have our preferences, cool.
Yeah.
My preferences have moved from number 1 to probably number 3.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So if you don't have that fat ass, okay, cool. Do we have a good time together? Boom. That's number 1.
I mean, she could always do squats.
Did she what?
She could do squats. I heard squats makes,
Do you do squats?
I don't need to.
That's what I'm saying. It's a natural thing.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, I was blessed with one, thankfully.
You're
but
blessed
I
with
mean, as I get older, I do more because you start losing muscle. But yeah. I don't need to.
Yeah, and I don't know about that because I'm a man and I don't, I don't care about what my ass look like. I care about it.
I walk around looking at men's ass like, oh, you guys look. No, I'm kidding.
Y'all do that? Do y'all really?
We actually do look at men's asses. I'm not gonna lie. It's not that it's a priority, but if guy got like a little, when you're
what? No, I don't know.
When you're doing the thing.
Oh, the thing. Okay.
You have something to
grip
grab onto.
Okay. I knew what you were talking about. I just wanted you to say it.
Same thing as a man. Like, he wants to be able to grab on something, and same females like that too.
Not like we do.
Probably not, but it's still nice.
It's not. It's
I mean, that maybe just for me. Maybe it's my preference. Maybe it's just my preference.
No. But how high is that preference on your list?
It's not high at all.
Okay.
It's like pretty low. Like, I don't really care.
Right.
It's a nice have, but it's not a must have.
It's not a must have. Right. No. That's what I'm saying. Like, my must have was a big ass, and then after that, your attitude, whatever, I could cope with it more
because you had a fat ass. Oh wow, yeah.
Now it's like, let's put it like this: when you with somebody, you have sex. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Mm-hmm. You can't have sex 24/7.
No.
So outside of the bedroom, am I having fun with you?
Right.
Are we laughing? Are we having fun? Mm-hmm. And if not, if the only time we have fun is in the bedroom, then that's probably all I'm gonna want you for.
Right.
And at this stage in my life, I'm not dating for fun in the bedroom. I'm dating for
longevity.
Of course, that's important. That's not bullshit. That's important. But
it is, because it plays a major factor.
It plays a major factor, yeah.
But it's not the most important thing.
It's not the most important thing. Like a big ass is not important to me anymore.
Right.
If you could be a big ass, you can have a big ass and be an asshole. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I'm just saying, the older you get, the priorities change.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We all talk about we want to be happy. Do we really want to be happy? Or do we want to have something that temporarily makes us happy? It's really.
And I think it's the problem is differentiating between that. Like, do I want to be happy? Is this person going to make me happy for a long time, or is this person going to make me happy for right now?
Bingo.
And just being able to separate those two, it's not always that easy because sometimes you're living in a moment.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm happy right now. But then maybe a week or a month down the road, you're like, this is not, I'm not very happy anymore. Like, what am I doing?
Right.
You know?
Right. Like, for instance, for example, women, and maybe this is not all women.
Okay.
If you have some good thing, okay, you got some good dick, okay? It's a lot of guys under the impression that I got you. If I got that good thing, I can be a complete asshole, but you under my spell right now. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But when you get older, you realize that's a temporary thing.
Yes.
We can't do that. If we can do that 24/7, you'd be the happiest person in the world.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're happy, but it's impossible. Mm-mm. Because most of that time is spent outside. So that's what I'm saying about that. That's where my priorities change. She has a big old butt, okay, but as soon as she come through the door, it's all about the butt, and as soon as she, and
she opens her mouth, and it's like, oh damn, I don't like her anymore.
Right. Well, she may open her mouth, and maybe, certain times might be.
Well, not that kind of open mouth, like the words that come out her mouth, not. Yeah, not what's going inside her mouth.
Right, her mouth may be magnificent until she talks words.
Right.
And then you're like, oh my God,
she gonna shut up.
If it wasn't for that. The mouth, boy, I've been gone.
What that mouth do?
Right, what that mouth do? Hawk tour. You know what I mean? I got a picture.
No.
Well, no picture. Okay.
No picture.
No picture. Okay.
No picture.
So we not putting up, but no, it's that's what I'm saying. Like, I think when you get older, your priorities change, and you want to be happy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying settle. No. I'm not saying settle for anything. I'm saying your happiness becomes priority over everything else. And if that person has quote unquote flaws, you can look over that and just be happy. If it's somebody you can't go in public with and they just dirty and I get that. Of course, I get that. We're human. We have our different but some priorities can be knocked down for your happiness.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? If this person is not dirty, if this person is decent and you can deal with it, you can and be happy, fellas. She don't have to have a big ass.
I mean, some men actually still prioritize that. Like, they still think that the only reason why they started talking is because I saw your ass. Like, you had a fat
Yes.
ass. That's why I talked to you.
No, I went out with some women who ain't got no ass at all. NASA tall.
Like
And
chicken cutlets.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's straight up, straight down, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, man.
Oh my God.
But and if I look back on it now, my dumbness, my stupidity, these women would have made me happy.
Probably.
But at the time, I was young, dumb, and just full of you know what, and overlooked that. When these people could have made me happy. Here's another thing and I'm bringing just to give an example. I was all about dating light-skinned women. Had to be light-skinned. I couldn't deal with no dark woman because my impression was they like to fuss, fight, and they always angry. I was wrong.
You're definitely wrong.
I was wrong. Some of the most beautiful women in the world. And I'm not making it a race thing. I'm just making it, you could be dark and Hispanic. You know, there are dark Hispanic women too out there.
Yeah.
You know? So it has nothing to do with race. But that was my preference stupidly at the time, and I'm pretty sure I missed out on a lot of beautiful women. So now your ass is not a factor to me, and your complexion is no longer a factor to me. Do you make me happy? And then we can deal with everything else as it comes along.
Right. Yeah.
That's how I feel.
It's true.
Yeah.
I always had a preference too when it came to men. I always liked light-skinned men. That was always my preference. And it didn't have to be that they were white. They were usually Hispanic.
Right.
But whatever. But that was always my preference. It's always what I went towards.
Mm-hmm.
And as I got older, I'm like, why do I always like gravitate towards that? Like, why don't I open my palette and see what else is out there besides these light-skinned Hispanic stupid men? In my experience. So, yeah, most of the light-skinned Hispanic men are not the best kind of men. So, yeah.
Yeah. Your experience is your experience.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't judge everybody off of, you know, some people you have bad experiences and some experiences you just can't get over. You know, so it's like, okay, I understand that. But it comes to a certain point, a certain age where it's like, okay, let me get this a shot. This could be the best thing ever.
It could, yeah, exactly.
You know? So that's where I am on
It
that.
definitely could. Sorry, the kids texting me.
No, you're good. So I just want to say to everybody who's dating, there are some differences in the areas you're from, and there are a lot of things that are the same.
For sure.
So if you think you're moving down or moving up or wherever you're going because the dating scene is different, you might be in for a little surprise.
I think it's just this time.
It's definitely this
day
time.
and age.
My parents were married for 53 years before my father passed away. 53 years. How often do we see that now?
I never had that role model. My mom never married my dad, so I don't know. My grandparents were married, but they were separated for the last 10 years of their lives.
Right.
Well, last 10 years of my grandma's life, at least. Right. So I never had that, like, role model. And coming from where I came from, it kind of made sense because that was, like, the stereotype from where I'm from.
Right.
You know, either the women were always single, raising their own kids by themselves, and you lived in the projects raising your kids, and if you did have a man or a husband, he's probably out running the streets, and you're at home with the kids. So that's my upbringing. So it's very different the way I see life than how people might see life.
Do you think any way that may have affected the way you see dating?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it made me look at things better. I think it made me look at things in a bad light, only because what I saw was what I thought was right.
Okay.
So for a long time, that's what I was pursuing because I thought that's what was the right thing to do.
Gotcha.
So that's all I knew.
Yeah, I mean, it has a lot to do with people's background too. So you have to take that in consideration. That's That's where communication comes in. You communicate with the person you're seeing or you're talking to, or you communicate with them. Learn what they've seen, what they've been through, because you can't just go off judging somebody as a complete. You don't know what they've been through.
No.
So before you go off putting off judgment on somebody, communicate with them, especially if you're serious about them.
Right. And I think it's important too, especially to learn about their childhood trauma.
Yeah.
Because I think that your childhood trauma carries over into your adulthood.
Oh yeah.
And it affects every aspect of your life. And I'm learning that now. Like, you know, everything that I may have experienced as a child came into my adulthood, and it shaped me in good ways, but it's also shaped me in bad ways.
Right.
So any other person you meet along the way probably has that same experience, and that will also determine the way they live life.
I think that has a lot to do with it. I think I just think what you've been through, what you've seen, sometime has an effect. It obviously
Yes,
has
for
an
sure.
effect on who you are.
It's okay. So I'll tell you like a story about mine. So when my grandma was alive, so my grandma was the one that was always in my life. Like I was always with her, you know, like in a way she shaped me the way that I am, which I'm thankful for because she instilled a lot of things into me.
Right.
So when she had cancer and she was like going through chemo and she was having like maybe hallucinations or whatever. So there was at one point that she was really close to death and she was like folding clothes. There was no clothes to fold. She was make believing that whatever air she thought she was folding clothes.
Right.
So my mom asked her like, you know, like, Mom, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm folding Shannel's daughter's clothes. I didn't have a kid yet.
Wow.
I didn't have a kid yet. And she's like, I'm folding her daughter, you know, Shannel's daughter's clothes. Like, my mom's like, she doesn't have a kid yet. And she's
Right.
like, no, like she does. Like I have, you know, like a great granddaughter. And so my grandma passed away 2 days after my birthday.
Oh man.
So I was 24. And not only about 2 months later, I came out pregnant after that. So 3 of us came out pregnant after my grandma passed away. And we all had girls.
Wow.
Because she had boys. Like there was a bunch of boys in my family. Like
Yeah.
my grandma had 4 boys, 2 girls. And then all the grandchildren, a lot of them were boys.
Right.
So when she passed away, it was almost like, here you go, here's some girls. I'm sprinkling you all with some girls. So 3 of us had girls. And I think after that, a good 6 girls were born within like maybe a 2-year span.
So do you think the fact that you have a girl and all that, does that play into a role of how you're raising her?
Yes.
Okay.
Like I raised her. I think I raised her more the way that I know my grandmother would have done for me. Because
Okay.
again, I was always with my grandma a lot more than anything.
Right.
So she was a very caring person. I was her oldest grandkid, so I was spoiled. So she, you know, she was very loving with me, very open with me, and my mom wasn't. And again, I think it has a lot to do with whatever she went through in her upbringing. So I can't completely blame it, but you know, whatever I experienced, whatever I experienced, and just knowing that I can change the way that I felt growing up as a kid, because it did. It affected me a lot. Like it made a big impact on my life. I didn't have my dad in my life for a long time. Like I didn't have my dad in my life until I was an adult.
Wow.
And when I found out why,
Right.
it crushed me. Like there was a
Yeah.
point where I had to like go to therapy because it was like I couldn't believe that happened. But now my dad and I, we have a pretty good relationship. Turns out that I'm actually his twin. I'm identical to him. Like everything, my mannerisms, my personality, my sarcasm is him. And he was never around, but it wasn't his fault. But I am him. I'm his identical twin. Like there's no denying that he's my dad. I look like him and everything. So just, I knew that if I ever had a kid, that I would raise her again the way that I wanted to be raised and the way I wanted to be loved. So that's probably why I don't have that teenage problem with her.
Right.
Because I was always very open with her, very loving with her, very like, you know, you can talk to me about anything. It's okay. You don't have to be scared or shy. I'm not going to get mad at you. I may have hit her one time and I never did it again. And she was little. And it was because she freaking had a fit. She was 4. We went out to eat. I think it was like Applebee's.
Hey, that's why she hit you. You took it to Applebee's.
We took it to Applebee's and she
I love Applebee's.
had a freaking like meltdown.
Wow.
She was crying and screaming. You would think I was beating her in the restaurant. And I'm like, so I'm under the table, I'm like pinching her, like, shut up, like, stop crying.
You're a young mother at the
screaming.
time.
Yeah, I was like 28, I think.
You're a young mom. Yeah, first kid.
So I was like, the food hadn't even come yet. When they came with the food, I'm like, just pack it, please, and I'm just gonna go. I got in the car and I slapped her like her head, her like leg, and then I was losing it. Like I was
smacked her
Aisha
on the
was
leg?
like, yeah, in the leg.
Oh, that ain't nothing.
No, I know, because I didn't want to be that person.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be that mom that beats her kids.
Shit.
So then I drove her to her dad's house, and I'm like, I'm gonna leave you at your dad's house because we weren't together at that point, and he wasn't home. So now I'm sitting in the car and I'm crying because I'm so like frustrated. When I'm mad and angry, I cry, and she sees me crying and she stops crying. She's like, "Mommy, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'll
She
never
was
do it again."
4?
And she never did it again.
She was 4?
She was 4.
Yeah.
So that was the last time and only time I ever hit her.
Wow.
But-
And I'm going to ask this, and then we're going to get on to some stuff and then close it out.
Okay.
How do you think not having your father in your life affected you and then affected how you raised your child?
So not having my dad in my life, I'd say it so kind of impacts my life in a way, because I think I've always been searching for a love But the love I search for is one that I have to fight for.
Gotcha.
Because I think that the only way I'm supposed to get love is because I have to fight for it or beg for it because I was never really given it growing up. So I think that's the way it's impacted me. And then as far as like raising my daughter, at first I would deny, because I was denied seeing my dad. My mom kept him out of my life. So as my daughter was like smaller, my mom tried doing that with her. Like she was telling me like, don't let her see her father. Like he's a jerk. Don't let him do this. And for a while I listened. And then after a while I'm like, wait a minute. I know what impact that had on me.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be that person. I'm not. If her dad wants to be in her life, then he could be in her life. Yeah. I'm not. Obviously, we don't get along. We still don't really talk. Like we're very like just okay. She's going. Okay, cool. Bye. It's very little words that we share with each other. But I was like, I'm not going to be that mom. I'm not going to be the stereotypical person that keeps the dad out their life, and then she grows up and come out and be like the same person like me, searching for love where it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So that's why I changed the way I raised her. So as she got a little bit older, I like, you know what, he can see her. You know, it was the ball was in his court.
Yeah.
At the beginning, he wouldn't see her much, and that was his own problem. It wasn't mine. I tried. I would like, hey, you remember you have a daughter? Like, hey, she's asking about you. Like, hey, it's her birthday. Are you gonna come to the party? So then with the whole moving to Florida thing, New York, I don't know how other states work, but in New York, you have to get permission to move from the court.
Really?
You can't just leave. And the only reason why I know that is because he had two other kids that are older than my daughter.
Yeah.
And I'm the third baby mama, don't ask. So anyway, so his second baby mama, she decided she wanted to move to Florida, but she didn't tell him that. She said she was going on vacation for 2 weeks.
Wow.
She never came back. So I was with him at that point, and he went to court and got temporary custody of her.
Wow.
So in my head, I'm like, so I didn't think about anything like at that point because I think I was pregnant at that point. So he ended up getting temporary custody, and then we're going to court back and forth, and then I think the last court date she didn't show up, so he got custody of her. So he raised his daughter. Yeah. So when it was my turn, so I'm like, I want to move to Florida. I'm like, no, man, you are not taking my kid because neither one of us are going to raise her because I'm going to kill you and I'm going to go to jail.
Of course you are.
So I went to court and I got permission. It took almost a year, the whole process.
I did not know that.
It took like almost a year. And during that process, he made my life a living hell.
Wow.
Because now he wants to see her. Mind you, I was chasing him to see her before that. So once I got like the court in motion, like all that in motion, he's like, oh, I want visitation rights. And I'm like, dude, I never denied you seeing her. But he was just doing that out of spite.
Out of spite, yeah.
So he would get like, I think it was like Tuesdays and Thursdays after school, he had to bring her back like that same day. He would bring her back late. He would bring her back without doing her homework. So she was about what, 5 or 6? I think she was 6. She was 6. Do you know how hard it is to have a 6-year-old do homework at like 9 o'clock at night?
Of course, that attention span is impossible.
She doesn't want to do anything but go to sleep, so it was hard. And he would do it on purpose. And then he, if he would get like his weekend, one time he called, like she went over there for the weekend, and he calls me. She's screaming and crying at the top of her lungs, and she's like, "Oh, he put on the phone." I'm like, "Okay, can I go get her?" Yeah. No. So why'd you call me? Wow. So it was like a living hell for like that year, and then finally we went to court, and he missed it. Like he got there late, so I had a lawyer because I lawyered up, and the lawyer. Obviously, when you have a lawyer, it's easier because New York, the court system is horrible. Like you literally wait all day in court. But since I had a lawyer, he gets in the right time. So as soon as we got like 2 o'clock came around, they called us in. We went in. He wasn't there yet. She's like, "You can leave. You got, you're granted to go. If whenever you want to go, it's up to you. You can leave." I'm like, "Cool." We left. He walks in at the end of the court date, and he's like, "Oh, what happened? Like, I want visitation rights, like on paper." And I'm like, "You weren't here."
Right.
And she told me, like, if you want visitation, you come talk to me. Like, it's that simple. You just gotta talk to me. So then he ended up taking back to court after that. And he's like, "Oh, I just want, what he took me to court for was like, he thought that the visitations was like the visitation he had before was still on paper. And he's like, I want to adjust it that she has to come pick her up so that I have more time. Mind you, if I'm picking her up, I'm going to be on time. I'm never going to be late because I'm not a late person. So whatever time it says I'm supposed to be there, I'm going to be there. Right. So the judge looks at him, she's like, "What visitations are you talking about? There's no visitations on file anymore. You weren't here. So if you want to see her, you have to talk to her." He was so pissed off.
Well, that's his fault.
Yeah, I know. And I didn't care. I'm like, that's not my problem.
No.
You want to see her, you have to just like ask me.
All you had to do was come on time.
or just, I'm not gonna deny you your daughter.
Right, that's your kid. Yeah, that supersedes the court.
Right. So then I finally left. It took me about 3 or 4 months before I moved to Florida. I moved here with nothing.
Wow.
I put like one of those hitch things on the back of my car.
Yeah.
And whatever I could fit in the back of that, in that little trailer, was what I took.
Wow.
That was it. Whatever I could fit. I had no car, I had no job, I had no house.
Wow.
I had moved in with my god sister in Kissimmee for 2 weeks.
Right.
Within that time, I was able to get like a temp job.
Right.
And I got an apartment in Altamont, which is like not far from Orlando. And so I was making things work. You know, eventually I bought furniture, you know, I furnished the place, and, you know, she started school because she wasn't in school for those 2 weeks. And then from that temp job, I ended up getting like a permanent job that I was at for like 6 years. But between that, he ended up taking me to court again, like twice. The first time was he wanted to lower his child support.
Of course. That's
Like-
fellas, when you do that, that's virtually impossiple. You're not you got a hell of a case to prove.
Right.
You want to
Right.
lower child support.
And he owed back child support too.
Oh, it's not, what
Then
drug are you on?
And the things that I'm such a nice person, I was almost willing
Yeah.
to be like, okay, fine, you don't have to pay what you owe, but you can start over and we'll just start from scratch.
Right.
So as I'm on the phone, because I could do it virtually because I lived in Florida, and the judge is like, are you sure you want to do that? And it was a male judge, it wasn't even a female judge. And I'm like, you know what? I need the money. No, leave it on. He owes me those. He owes me that money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't do that. Like,
Don't do that.
Let him pay you back.
Yeah, look,
True serum in your ear. No more lies, no fear. Tory bringing it clear. Good Trump shifting gears. Podcast like them flames. Spitting truth, breaking chains. Welcome to Orlando, man. Real talk, no games. Truth, truth.